As digital assets become more deeply embedded in institutional finance, one challenge is quickly rising to the surface. How do you move tokenized securities, stablecoins, or fund shares across borders compliantly? At first glance, cross-border movement might seem like a technical issue, sending a token from one chain to another, but in reality, it's a legal, tax, and operational puzzle. Institutions must navigate jurisdiction-specific laws, reporting rules, and settlement standards, all without sacrificing the programmability and transparency that make digital assets valuable in the first place. That's where cross-border token infrastructure is stepping in, combining smart contracts with legal frameworks to enable secure, compliant, and efficient movement of assets across jurisdictions. Why cross-border transfers are so complex. In traditional finance, cross-border capital movement is routine but highly regulated. The same principle applies to tokenized assets, but with added layers of complexity. Each tokenized asset carries metadata about its origin, where it was issued, under which law, and under what regulatory structure. When that token crosses into a new jurisdiction, it faces an entirely different legal system. A tokenized private credit instrument that complies with Swiss law may be treated as a security under US regulations, triggering different disclosures, registration requirements, and tax consequences. To manage that risk, institutions rely on legal wrappers. Structures like Cayman exempt funds, Luxembourg RAIFs, and Singaporean VCCs allow asset managers to package token behavior in a way that aligns with local and foreign regulations. These wrappers provide legal portability, tax neutrality, and compliance compatibility, creating the conditions for lawful cross-border circulation. But legal structuring alone isn't enough. Embedding policy and protocols. How smart contracts support compliance. For compliance to work in practice, enforcement must extend beyond legal paperwork. It must be baked directly into the asset's code. Take a tokenized fund limited to qualified European investors. That restriction isn't meaningful unless the token enforces it. Smart contracts must be able to check a buyer's jurisdiction, verify accreditation, and block transfers that break the rules. And they need to do this autonomously, without requiring constant human oversight. That's why standards like ERC 1400, which support embedded transfer restrictions, KYC gating, and disclosure requirements, are becoming increasingly relevant. These frameworks allow legal teams and technical architects to work together, codifying policy into on-chain logic. Institutions are now working closely with digital asset consultants to implement these standards in a way that aligns with their unique risk, compliance, and jurisdictional profiles. Liquidity and interoperability across borders. Of course, compliance is just one half of the challenge. The other half is liquidity. Tokenized funds, stablecoins, and digital securities only fulfill their potential when they can flow between markets without being trapped in regulatory silos. That's where interoperability protocols come in. Technologies like Chainlink CCIP, Cosmos IBC, and Layer 0 are helping unify fragmented blockchain ecosystems, bridging permissioned and public networks while preserving legal attributes and settlement logic. These tools are also starting to integrate FX impact models, tax reconciliation systems, and real-time cross-chain reporting, critical features for institutional-grade asset movement. With the right infrastructure, liquidity no longer has to be broken up by borders. Capital can move where it's needed, efficiently and transparently, even in a complex regulatory environment. Kenson's role in shaping compliant global flows. At Kenson Investments, we help institutions make cross-border token transfers a reality, not just a concept. Our consulting practice spans legal, technical, and operational layers, from designing smart contracts that enforce policy to setting up compliant legal wrappers to building liquidity strategies across multiple jurisdictions. Whether you're exploring stablecoin deployment in regulated environments, looking to issue tokenized funds globally, or aiming to build liquidity routing strategies that align with compliance, we're here to help. Because in tomorrow's capital markets, regulatory precision will define who scales and who stalls. Explore more at kensoninvestments.com.